Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 65.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is about peace, how you can have more peace in your life. Now, this is a timely topic because the world feels like anything but peaceful right now. There is so much going on and chaos and disruption and confusion that it seems almost impossible at times to maintain a state of peace. I think all of us can relate to our thoughts racing quite a bit, to questions, to unknowns, to wondering what tomorrow brings, to wondering where we will be a year from now. So many things that maybe more so than ever are going on inside of our hearts, inside of our minds. And so therefore, we need to be in a state of peace more than we've ever had to be, because it's from that state which we really live a victorious life. So everyone, as you're listening to my words right now, think about where you are, how much peace is in your life. And not because of what's happening, not because everything is good, not because every relationship is perfect, not because your bank account looks perfect, not because your career or your business is where you want it to be, not because you are where you want to be physically, but regardless of all of that, are you in a state of peace? And can you really be in a state of peace despite circumstances? And I say you can. And I really believe that peace is a mindset, which is why I'm talking about it today. So let's start with a definition of what peace is. And I think the best definition is that peace is a deliberate state of calmness despite the presence of stress, despite the presence of fear, despite the presence of unknowns. That peace is a deliberate state of calmness. It is a strength. It is a knowing. It is a commitment that is inside of you from which you don't move easily. When you decide to be in peace, when you work to be in peace, when you commit to being in peace as much as possible, you don't move from that easily, because once you've done it, you see what it does for your life. It is a decision. It is a decision. It's a lot like love that way. Love just doesn't happen. It does early on in a new relationship, but love as it matures is a daily decision. You choose to love. You choose to love someone. You choose to be in love, to walk in love, to act in love, to speak in love. It really is a choice. Well, being in peace and choosing peace is also a decision. As I said, it is a deliberate state of calmness. It's deliberate, meaning it is a choice. It is something that you choose. It isn't based on what's happening to you, because if we based our peace or our joy on happenings, and that's what really happiness is, right? Happiness is based on happenings. If we based it on happenings, one day we may be in peace, the next day we would not be, and the next day, who knows? Because life's happenings are a roller coaster, and so much that we cannot control, as you've learned if you've been with me any amount of time. We can't control anything but our mind and how we react to the things that happen to us. So if we base our peace or our happiness on where we are and what's happening in our life, we will really never have true peace. We will never be able to hold on to peace. So I want you to remember that it is a decision, and it is deliberate to be and remain in a state of peace despite the presence of everything that's going on around you. Now, there are two different aspects of peace that I see, and I know people tend to use these interchangeably, but when you look at the way I break down mindset, then you'll see that I see these two differently. I see inner peace as different from peace of mind. And let me explain that. If you remember my definition of mindset, it is a set of deeply held beliefs and a way of thinking that results in one's actions. So it's three aspects: spirit, soul, and body. And I look at inner peace and I say that is the same as a set of deeply held beliefs. I believe inner peace, when we say inner peace, we're talking about the spiritual aspect, the deeply held belief of peace. It's in the spirit realm, it's in the heart realm. It's related to what we truly believe on a deep level. And gaining inner peace on that level is key. And it's important because it drives everything else in our life. So when you go to the definition of mindset, which is a set of deeply held beliefs, and therefore thoughts flow from that, and therefore actions, it's really crucial that we start with the spiritual level. We start with the deeply held belief level. So we want to develop inner peace on a spiritual level, because that allows us then to move into the mind or into the soul realm and the way of thinking, which is the second part of mindset. And that's where peace of mind comes in, right? It's peace of mind. It is a mindset. It is thoughts now on the soul level realm, in the conscious realm, not in the subconscious realm anymore, but thoughts that flow from those deeply held beliefs. And the lasting power of those thoughts comes from the fact that they are rooted in an inner peace in our spirit, an inner peace in our deeply held beliefs. So the two worlds, if you will, are connected, right? Our spiritual and our soul, our subconscious and our conscious realm. So we have to think about peace in those two realms. And then, of course, eventually it shows up in our body. And we're going to talk about what a body in peace looks like. But remember, if you don't develop inner peace on a spiritual level, on a subconscious level, on a heart level, it is much more difficult for you to have true peace of mind, and to have peace of mind that actually has staying power. So the first thing you need to do is work on your inner peace on a spiritual and subconscious level. And how do you do that? Again, as I always say, you deal with your limiting beliefs. What is keeping you from peace right now? What is keeping you from embracing and choosing? Again, it's a decision, choosing to be in peace. What limiting belief is telling you you can't do that? I'm always pushing you to find the limiting beliefs behind the thoughts that you're having, behind the patterns, the negative patterns in your life. So we have to do the work on a spiritual level so that we can start to have inner peace, deeply held beliefs that we can be in peace, that peace is possible, and that we challenge those deeply held negative mindsets and beliefs and thoughts that are keeping us from our peace of mind, which is the daily practice in the soul realm and our conscious thoughts, where we then are in peace. These thoughts that are flowing from our deeply held beliefs into our conscious realm, and they need to have staying power. This is why positive thinking doesn't work long term, because if you don't deal with the spirit level of those limiting negative beliefs, then positive thinking is just like a band-aid over that. And eventually, as soon as stress hits, it doesn't work anymore. You have to do the true healing. And the same is true of peace of mind. Peace of mind, if you look at it the way I've defined it, if it's just simply in the conscious realm and it doesn't have roots deeply held in our spirit, and those that are based in inner peace with inner healing and the work you have done to make that possible, then as soon as stress comes, you lose your peace. It has no staying power. So from that, I want you to remember that peace is a deliberate state. It is a choice. It is calm despite the presence of everything else that is negative. And it's done best in the deepest area of your life, which is the spirit realm, the subconscious realm, where all of your hurts are, right? Your deeply held beliefs and pain. That's where you need to do the work, so that when it comes into our thought realm, our soul realm, our conscious realm, that we can actually have peace of mind that has staying power. So what happens in the three areas of our mindset, in our spirit, soul, and body, when we maintain a state of peace? So when we've done the work to erase the limiting beliefs, replace them, so that we can have true inner peace, from which then we have peace of mind, what do you see happening? What are the results? What manifests in the three aspects of our mindset, which is really spirit, soul, and body? Well, first of all, in the spirit realm, in the subconscious realm, in that deeply held belief realm, where we can have inner peace, the deepest peace, the most important peace, I believe when we've been able to do the work to heal from those limiting beliefs that are keeping us from walking in peace, that tell us we can't, that tell us we don't deserve it, that tell us we'll never have it, when we've been able to overcome those and see the truth about ourselves and tell ourselves the truth and change those limiting beliefs, and that's a whole nother podcast because I've talked about that so much. My book talks about it. And, that's something that is an exercise on its own. But when we've been able to do that and we can develop inner peace in the deepest aspect of ourselves in the spirit realm, we can hear from God easier. I mean, that alone is such a benefit because He speaks to us there. And when you remove the limiting beliefs and you remove the stress and you add in more and more peace and calmness, you are able to hear from God easier, which means you can overcome and identifying limiting beliefs as they come at you that much easier, because we are always facing limiting beliefs that want to write themselves on our subconscious and want to hang around, right? From whatever we experience day to day in our lives. It's not just from childhood. It's from anything that can happen, and even in adulthood, traumatic events, things that happen to us day to day. So when we are in a state where we have that inner peace, we can hear from God more easily. And then we are able to identify and overcome limiting beliefs really before they take hold and before they become more and more difficult to remove. You also can see yourself more clearly. See yourself as God sees you. And this is ultimately my wish for everyone, as they would see the truth about themselves and the truth about the possibility and potential of their life, because that's how God sees you. Because He created you on purpose for a purpose. So if you can draw closer to Him through that inner peace, hear more clearly from Him, you can see yourself more like He sees you. And when you do that, it's that much easier to see purpose. It's that much easier to understand why He created you the way you are, the way He did, the way that you are. And therefore, you can begin to pursue more purpose in your life. So that peace aspect of it helps clear out the noise on that deep spiritual level, which is so important. And from that, then, of course, we go to the soul realm, to the mind, which is the second part of mindset, which are the thoughts that we have. And that's where we call it peace of mind, right? As I just defined for you. So what happens when you have peace of mind in the soul realm, in the conscious realm, in your mind? Your head is clearer. You think more clearly. You can make better decisions. We all have to make decisions all day long. And some we agonize over, some we make quickly, but we will make better decisions when we make decisions from a place of peace. Therefore, there is less turbulence in your life, in your relationships, in situations, because your head is clearer and you're making better decisions. You can work through problems faster and more effectively. And I think you just procrastinate less because it's easier for you to understand what is good for you, what is a good decision, how to handle a situation better. It's easier to have vision, clearer vision, and clearer plans when you are operating from a place of peace, from peace of mind, which is related to the inner peace you've developed in your spirit realm. And I just think in general, you're more willing and ready to move forward for the purpose and in the purpose for your life because you have more clarity. So the benefits of having that peace of mind in the soul realm are huge. Now, that's where you are battling thoughts, right? Thoughts that come at you that are not peaceful thoughts. Sometimes hour by hour, minute by minute, but definitely every day we have to battle those thoughts. It is the strength of that inner peace that will help us overcome those thoughts that threaten our peace of mind. And we have to do that. We have to make that choice. Again, peace is a decision, and it may be a minute by minute decision to stay in peace and battle those thoughts and those pressures that really threaten to remove the peace from you. And again, this is not based on happenings. So you could have so many things going wrong in your life, but if you can maintain a sense of peace, you will make it through those things that much more quickly and that much more effectively. And you will be able to see and put them in their rightful place. So being in a state of peace is an amazing tool to conquer the challenges that we have, all of us have in our life. So what does it do in the physical realm, which is the third part of mindset, spirit, soul, and body? Well, you hopefully by now, and listening to me and others who do the work I do, you know that the physical body is a reflection of what's going on in your spirit and what's going on in your soul. That we ultimately reflect through our flesh, through our body, the things that we are thinking and believing, because they result in chemicals being released in our brain, and they result in either health or disease. So being in a state of peace, having inner peace, doing that work to arrive there, to maintain it, being in peace of mind in the soul realm, it has a direct impact on the health in your physical realm. We know your emotions affect your health, and that shows up in simple but profound things like your ability to fight infections, to fight off pathogens that come in you never even know about in your body, your ability to fight off disease, which that word is dis-ease. It's dis-ease. It's when you are in a state of dis-ease, not in a state of peace. Your body cannot fight things as effectively. Your cells are think about them as almost being confused and without the weapons they need to do what they were designed to do. That you want them working well. You want to be in a state of peace so that your body can be in a state that it's optimized to work well and do what it needs to do. You really are in less of a flight or fight mode when you're in peace. And if you know anything about the cortisol hormone or the flight or fight reaction that God put in us to save our lives when necessary, you know that it's long-term very damaging to the body. If you remain in such a high level of stress, in such a high level of response of stress to things that are happening to you, which produces cortisol in your body on a continuous basis, eventually your body will break down. It was not meant to be in that state. It was not meant to be constantly dealing with cortisol. Cortisol was there and adrenaline is there to allow us to be in a fight or flight mode when we are under extreme stress and we need to save our lives or make a decision quickly, whatever that looks like. But if you are under constant stress and you're not in peace, meaningful peace, then you are damaging your body through the chemicals that are being released. So this has real life implications, not just for your relationships and your decisions in life and you know the things that you decide to do and move forward with and the visions and plans, but it actually has the ability to affect you very negatively or very positively on a physical realm. You want to maintain homeostasis, which is optimal functioning and equilibrium in your body. And the best way to do that is to have the equilibrium in your mind and the equilibrium in your spirit, which is a state of peace. So what I want to leave you with is how to practice peace, because I believe this is a practice. I believe it's a decision, and therefore it is a daily commitment. And I think it's very much tied into mindset practices. So let me leave you with a few things that I believe will help you to practice peace in your life. Just a few ideas. There are more than these. And if you practice certain things to maintain peace, please email me. Let me know what you do, because there are so many ways we can do it, but here are a few for you. First, be selective. Be selective about who you spend your time with and how you spend your time. We have to be careful. We have to be selective, because the people we spend our time with or what we're doing affects how we feel about ourselves. It affects what is going into our soul realm and therefore our spirit realm. Be careful what you listen to and who you listen to. If things get really stressful for you in terms of what's going on in the world, turn off the news. Turn it off. Take a vacation from news. Wow, what a difference it makes. Because if you're constantly hearing bad news, or certain ways of thinking, eventually that's going to affect you. And if it doesn't line up with what you believe, you will have such a sense of stress. It will be very difficult to maintain peace. So be careful what and who you are listening to. Decide what beliefs you will not compromise despite the noise around you. So if you cannot turn off some of the noise and it's not in line with what you believe, you need to double down and commit to what you believe and say no to those things that threaten that, and say no to compromising those beliefs, even though the pressure around you says to do otherwise. Sometimes we can't escape it. We can't escape the noise. So therefore we need to develop a way to say, no, to that and not compromise. You have to strengthen your boundaries. You have to know when to say yes and when to say no. And you need to do that from a point of peace and love, but strengthening your boundaries will keep you in a state of peace. And really, the most important thing is to draw closer to the source of perfect peace, which is God. Absolutely be committed to regular meditation and prayer, and drawing closer to Him, you will get more peace. Drawing closer to the very perfect source of peace will allow you to be in a state of peace more easily. And He will show you areas of your life that you can change so that you can be in a deeper state of peace. And having that constant awareness of God's presence in your life, even if you're not in a state of prayer or meditation, I think having a constant awareness of His presence and the ability to speak with Him whenever you want and hear whenever you want definitely brings with it peace in any situation, no matter how difficult. So again, I believe peace is a mindset issue, absolutely. And I want to leave you with a verse that reinforces that, which is Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Take that verse, think about it. Think about what you do every day. Think about what you're listening to. Think about what information you consume. Think about where you struggle and begin to do the work and fight absolutely and decide that you will do anything you need to be in a state of peace, to remain in a state of peace, no matter what's happening around you. It's worth fighting for. It's life-changing. And if you develop those practices now, it doesn't matter what's in your future because you will be able to maintain your peace and therefore have a more victorious life. So peace to everyone. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.